This is another widget. We call them widgets. Here the idea is to have the demography. This is not the final version though, but the idea is like we cannot know 100% demography from all the sample, but this is a huge sample. So, for example, if it's 100,000 listeners, we can take a sample at least 50%. You can see here the sample. So the idea is to know the sex, if it's male or female, the age range, and the most important location. And here, once you expand it, you can see more information. This is good for your marketing strategy. So maybe you're aiming your product to women, but you can see like males are the ones seeing it, and you can see the locations that are mentioning your product the most. Camille. So now we're gonna see another of the widgets that we're gonna be doing, and this is a very interesting one. It's this one, we call it advocates versus problem makers. So the idea is to know your top problem makers. These are the ones. You have 12 problem makers, or you can have 18 problem makers. And here you can see all the details. The idea is to incentive your advocates to keep talking good about your brand, and to try to convert the problem makers so they don't talk wrong about you. And we based it on the number of followers of each, like how you
Profiles.
with the profiles. I think the idea is like if they have lots of followers or friends, either it's Facebook or YouTube or Twitter, and they talk a lot about that brand, that's how they got into the top 10. Right? Okay. Now we're gonna see another one. Okay. And this is just the listeners and mentions. This is just like a summary of everything that you have monitored. So maybe you have 100,000 mentions. Oh no, listeners on Facebook. So from 352 mentions that you made, or that people post, there's 100,000 listeners that could read that, and you can see how many were positive and how many were negative. With the percentage, and here where you see a graph over time. This is just the idea of all these wizards is like, you're monitoring, but it's a lot of information, so you cannot take a grasp or a scope of all the information, and this is just to like for you to do strategies for your interaction with social media. I think that's it, right? How about the API? What's the API for? I know there's nothing, but the API, what does it do? Vamos. En español yo lo traduzco.
Okay. El API lo que hace es estar monitoreando todo el internet, en todo tiempo, sobre todos los recursos, sobre algún proyecto en específico.
But the idea with the API is like external users can connect to MadeinSocial. This API is you can search for it's an acronym. And the idea is, what's the idea with the API?
De que cualquier persona pueda conectarse a este sistema y poder utilizar la información que el sistema está recabando información de cualquier tipo de proyecto de keywords y utilizarlo a su favor, a su conveniencia.
Okay, so the idea is like everything, all the data that we've been monitoring, you can external system can access that data, and they can use it for their own good. For example, if you have a Salesforce account, Salesforce, you could interact Salesforce with MadeinSocial. So you can take data out of MadeinSocial and put it inside Salesforce. That's the idea, right?
Se pueden utilizar en aplicaciones como en iPhone, no sé. Es una base de datos externa para hacerla utilizada en otras aplicaciones.
Also, you can also use it for iPhone applications that they can take just the information, right?
Sí.
Information from MadeinSocial outside, and you have to program things, right? The idea, this is only for programmers. It's not for the regular user. Sentiment analysis, it's well, I think we already talked about that. So interprets multiple language.
El sistema, el API y el CRM tiene que estar soportado para varios idiomas y puede crecerse a cualquier idioma.
So right now we're supporting English and Spanish, but we can have any language. We just have to train it, right?
Sí.
And the idea here is very important because other tools, they just make translations with Google Translation, and sometimes it doesn't work good. And the other, for example, if you put a strange accent or another character that is not available in English, so it just is not working. So that's one of our unique selling points, that we support Spanish and English, and we can easily support other. Intuitive interface is like the design is very easy to use. That's all the idea. Connect across networks. That means that we can connect easily to well, here it says that we support more than 50 social network, blogs, forums, anything. But the good thing is, like, everything is based that we can integrate new platforms, new social networks, extremely easy. So we can grow it. If you need something else, we can just put it, right? And traditional CRM integration. We're doing, you have to search for something called Sugar. It's a CRM, customer relationship management. And the idea is, like, we're gonna make an integration so you can see all your mentions and you can graph it against your sales. So you can see if your mentions help you increase or decrease sales. And we're also seeing manage multiple projects and users. I think that's what we saw in the first video, where you can have, or maybe we can show it. So this is a purely software as a service. The idea is you have a user and password, and you only need the browser to use this. So here we can see that there's multiple projects. You can have as many projects as you want with as many users as you want. And that's because agencies are the ones using this type of tools, and they don't work with just one project. So here we see all the projects, then we see the users. So we can have as many users because maybe an agency they usually have a lot of employees. And this is a message wall, just for the team, right? Something else we're missing? You can edit a project, you can create now. Feedback is, they can send us some feedback if something is not working and they feel like. Here we have a menu also with the projects that we have you set up.
You already talked about those.
About what?
About the push.
Let's see it again. So this is a project we're following Chicharito, that's a Mexican football player playing at Manchester. Again, you can write anything. Here's the bus dashboard. Right now, well, it's in real time. It's looking at posts about that football player. If you click one, you go straightly you go down and see the comment here. Okay, thanks.